So hello everybody, welcome to our potentially last energy update from us here at Platform Housing Group. This is all about advising you about what all the different hikes you're hearing about in energy prices may mean for you, may mean for our customers, may mean for those of us who work within the organisation, not just right now, but also further down the line. I have with me, as always, from the Successful Tenancies team, Georgina Bailey-Allen and Karen Adam. Hello both.
Hi Rich.
And we are here to help you as much as possible. These guys are helping people with having the best possible tenancies, keeping things as hassle-free as possible. And that's why they are in the best position to give out some advice or thoughts on the situation. And it's also why we've been here every week this month, because things have changed so much and keep changing. So it's been important for us to kind of keep abreast of both of those, isn't it? So where should we start then? I think, Karen, if we start with you and just, I know since our last update, you have found out a little bit more about prepayment meters and what may or may not happen with them.
I have. Just bear with me 1 second. Sorry.
Someone onto the Karen hotline already?
I was just about to say.
Oh, I must have switched it off. I always end up doing that, don't I? I'm just looking to make sure nothing else is switched on. Sorry, Rich, could you repeat that?
Prepayment meters we talked about last week, and there was a little bit of uncertainty as to the difference between people who are on accounts and people who are on prepayment meters.
Yeah, so people on prepayment meters have to pay in advance for any energy that they're using. If they don't top up their meters, then they don't have any energy. It's as simple as that. Sorry, that's something else going off now.
This is what happens.
Goodness.
What happens for anyone who's never joined us for an update before. Basically, at the start of like this month, you know, very few people knew the value of knowing Karen Adam, having her in your phone book.
And now everyone does, and now she's gone.
Just removed all telecommunications.
We haven't thrown them out the window.
Oh, don't I put it on the stairs. So prepayment meters. For anybody that doesn't understand what a prepayment meter is, it's a meter that you're topping up either with a key or a card, or nowadays on an app. If you don't top it up, then you technically cut yourself off. You don't get any energy. And it's been harder and harder for people to afford to be able to top up, and a lot of people have gone to just using their electricity and not topping up their gas. But the standing charge has been racking up daily as they go, so they end up with a debt, and then when they try and top it up again, they end up where the credit will take 90% of everything they top up with until they've caught up again. So we've got a lot of customers who don't even have gas because they cut themselves off by not topping up. It's really important for anybody that's vulnerable or relies on mains powered medical equipment that they reconsider whether or not prepayment meters are best for them because of this situation, especially with the price hike coming. You can contact your supplier if you're vulnerable, or if you've got a medical need, and they, as part of their license agreement, have got to allow you to have a credit meter, a billed meter, where you can pay the bill either monthly direct debit or on receipt of the bill. Does that help clarify?
Yeah, and I think the thing we were worried about most was like how caps and standing charges affect them, and also I suppose whether help was available for people on prepayment meters as opposed to being on billed accounts.
Yeah, the cap's set higher for people on prepayment meters, which is a little bit crazy why they should have to pay more. The government have given the reason that it costs more to manage the top-up payments. They incur costs, the energy company incur costs by doing that, which is why the cap's higher for prepayment customers. There is a little bit more help out for prepayment customers than there is for credit customers, actually, because a lot of local councils can actually issue discretionary energy vouchers. Some food banks will do them, but they are only for people on prepayment customers. So there is a little bit of glimmer of light there for people that are struggling. There is criteria before you qualify for them, and not all local councils do it. So it is a case of contacting your local council or your energy supplier and find out what help is out there.
Now, I know you were digging around as you always do, literally from the second we finish these to, I think, the second before we start the one that follows. And you brought something to our attention by the name of Cherish Grants. Now, this might be something that we've talked about similarly before about the different organisations who are physically out there to help, but it seems to me these kind of do a little bit more of a job for you.
They do, and it would be worth looking on the website. I think we're going to have some links, George, aren't we?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I can pop some onto the hot topics section on our website.
Yeah, there was a section on there specifically for prepayment customers. Couldn't get hold of anybody, unfortunately, to get some more information, but it did sound like it was worth contacting. You had to put some details in and then they come back to you. But it would be worth investigating that further. Unfortunately, because I'm not on prepayment meters, I couldn't obtain any more information from them, and they've not responded to my emails. And it was so impossible trying to talk to a human being. So as soon as we find out, we can put it on our website, you know, the response from them with more information. But you know, maybe if you are on prepayment meters, you know, you could try yourself and see if they come back to you as a prepayment customer, because the database will show who is on a prepayment meter when they make the application.
And they seem to be one of these companies who are kind of acting on behalf of a lot of energy companies with regards to helping people through the crisis at the minute, and sort of serving as that middleman to almost let you know about what you can access.
That's right. They manage a lot of the big energy suppliers' charity grants. That they're actually a charitable trust themselves. That they manage British Gas, E.ON. I noticed SSE have gone to them as well for some of their funding. SSE sometimes run their own, and then they also contribute to a pot. They administer the warm home discount on behalf of the government for people in the core group. So that'll be people who are on pension credit. So there's lots of big energy trusts out there. So it's definitely worth having a look on their website and finding out.
Yeah.
And if people can't find that information on the Cherish Grants website, Karen, it is worth having a conversation with your utility supplier as well, isn't it? I think.
Oh, definitely. The department you need to talk to, it's no good talking to the first person that you talk to, or, you know, the customer service advisor. Oh, and I don't mean that rudely, but they very often do not know about any of the grants or schemes.
Yeah.
And they tend to be operating from a script. So they'll put in a comment and then it'll bring up a script for them. And they don't get trained on other departments because they don't really need to. There's a lot they need to know for what they do. So it's always worth saying that you can't afford to pay your bill, or you can't afford to top up your prepayment meter. And they're called all different things, but there's lots of different departments within energy companies. Each energy company has their own one, and it's for their vulnerable customers. And it's not just for vulnerable, as in if you're disabled or elderly, it's anybody that is struggling to be able to afford their bills. They're the team that will know about what schemes are available, what help's available. They're the ones who've got a lot more power to be able to grant extensions on repayment plans and that kind of thing.
Okay. Now, as if there isn't enough for us all to be concerned about at the minute, there's no getting away from the conflict between Russia and Ukraine that's been dominating the news over the last few weeks. And in amongst all those conversations that we've heard from internationally, but also on our own doorstep as well, are what effects that might have on energy supply. Now, should we be concerned that this is going to be another factor that will affect our bills?
It's definitely going to affect our bills. We're not going to run out because we don't get a lot of supply directly from Russia. Germany get over 50%, but I think we get about 5% from Russia. Most of our energy comes from France, I believe. So it's not going to affect us in that way, but what it is doing is driving up the price of oil. So when oil goes up, all the energy prices, all prices go up, because that's how it's all measured, and it impacts on transport, on everything. So
Yeah.
you probably see that oil's over 100. I think it's $107 a barrel. The last time I looked at it. So
and I think anybody who drives a car, Karen, will see what's happening at the moment. I think that's probably been the most kind of instant change, hasn't it? Visible change for us right now, with the forecourt prices just going through the roof over a matter of days.
Yeah, and it is reflective. I've always watched the fuel prices at the petrol stations, simply because that's a good indicator of all other prices. I used to have oil-fired heating and hot water, so whenever the prices were dropping at the pumps, I knew to fill up my tank, because the prices would have been cheaper. So I was always lucky to be able to buy it, you know, at a lot cheaper rate than it is. But yeah, it's a bit scary. So the lights aren't going to go out, the heating's not going to go off straight away, but it is going to have a massive impact. And also Ukraine has oil supplies, so if they're not able to get those out, then that's another way it's going to impact supply and demand, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, because this is technically the final update we'll deliver weekly for everyone, and I think I speak for all of us when I say it's certainly been a journey of discovery this last month or so. So I thought, actually, although, you know, it would be things that would have come up in the last few updates, so if you haven't seen them yet, it's worth going back and looking over each of the updates that we've been able to give you this month. I wonder if I could ask you both for something like a nugget or a discovery that stood out for you over the last few months, that if we could, you know, reiterate in these last few minutes, we should do again. Karen?
Yeah, I think the thing that I've been most aware of is the vulnerability. I was really shocked that the government actually let that price cap be raised as high as it is. I know why they did it, but again, politics have jumped in. So I'm very disappointed that politics have played a part in what's going to create not only fuel poverty, but more poverty for especially a lot of our customers, but, you know, for a lot of friends and family and myself as well. And that has really impacted on the way that I'm thinking now.
George?
Yeah, I think for me, it's something I was aware of, but I think has become more alarming, given the potential for the price hikes. It's things like standing charges, so those little numbers that sit in the background, or seemingly sit in the background, that actually are a huge part of your bill. And just understanding your bills. You know, so many of us don't I look at, you know, written printed bills, and it's, you know, it does seem kind of like double Dutch, a lot of it. So it's being able to interpret those and understand around those charges. The standing charge is a biggie. It's almost like a hidden cost. It isn't a hidden cost, is it, Karen? But it's maybe potentially not the first charge on a tariff that would be advertised when suppliers are, or if you go onto a comparison site or something like that. So I think, as a lot of us will be kind of faced with, you know, do we go onto a fixed or do we just stay on the standard, you know, coming to the end of tariffs and things. It's just worth looking at all of the figures there. So I think that's a biggie for me, from a consumer perspective, but much like Karen as well, just quite alarmed, I think, at a lot of what I've read around this subject, in terms of the huge impact that it's going to have on so many of our households, which are already in what is referred to as fuel poverty.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's deepening that situation for a lot of people, and it's something that will affect us all. You know, doesn't matter about what incomes we've got, or anything like that. It's something that will affect each household at some point. that's quite scary.
I think it's been useful for me learning about the sort of inner workings, I suppose, Karen, that you've been able to kind
Of Karen's mind, or
well, that in general, obviously, yeah, that means Karen's calculator and that have been resources, but I think just that inner workings of the energy sector, and also the fact that despite what we think we're offered and it may be the best thing, always ask for more and better, because they do, and in most cases have to offer it to you, but it is about taking them on a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely, because although they've got a license to say that they have to tell you X, Y, and Z, they've got a really clever way of telling you but not telling you. So it's never been more important to get the best deal possible and make sure that you're only paying what you should be paying for your energy. Definitely.
Thank you very much, both. I was just going to again just tell everybody about those places. So on the platform website at the moment, in our customer hub, all of our energy updates are stored there. You can see all the ones from the past few weeks, plus the area about money, benefits, advice and job support, plus even elements of the Get Winter Ready section are still relevant, aren't they, George?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, so there's a wealth of information on there, links through to other websites around funding, schemes that are available, some of the schemes that we've discussed on this update and on our previous ones as well. So it's worth having a look. We have a fantastic team here who, although the Successful Tenancies team don't deal specifically with energy advice, they can help with money related matters and help with budgeting and looking at just simple things sometimes with checking incomes. So checking, if somebody might be eligible for a benefit that they're not currently claiming or they didn't know that they were entitled to. And if that can help nudge up somebody's income, then in turn that's going to help people to be able to manage the increase in prices of energy bills as well. So there's details of how to get hold of the gang. They are a fantastic team. We've got support with looking for, finding work, new careers, whatever it might be, wherever you are in that kind of on that scale, whether or not you've not worked for ages or you might be currently working now, there are various kind of options available through platform for getting some support and some coaching with that. So worth having a look at that too. That's all under the money section.
Cool. Thank you, George.
Good example to give you for there, George, is last week I was helping a lady who was just struggling generally with all of her bills. Did a benefit check for her and she was missing out on £64 a week of pension credit.
There we go.
She didn't even know what pension credit was. So popped in the application for her and she was gobsmacked, and it was something that she would have been entitled to for quite a long period of time. And unfortunately, they only backdate 12 weeks, but at least she's going to be getting it backdated for 12 weeks and going forward. And that's so common. That happens. I should imagine our team pick that up nearly every week with at least one customer. There's over 1 million pensioners out there not getting pension credit. So that's a start.
Perfect example. Good stuff. Thank you very much, both. Really appreciate it. And then, of course, the only other way we can really help you maintain all that excellent energy advice is to give out Karen's phone number, which is can't have it going off any more than it does normally. So,
non-stop, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Obviously here to help at any point, and we know it's a worry for customers and colleagues alike. So hopefully you found the last 4 weeks useful. I certainly have. George and Karen, thank you very much for your updates, and you never know, returning to a screen near you soon. We'll see what happens.
You never know. You just never know. Thank you very much, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
Thanks.